Hey everybody, it's Tori from Avalon Enchanted. Hope everyone is doing well. My apologies for not doing the reading on Thursday. There's just been so much going on. For those of you who might have missed it, we're in the process of moving out of our studio in Wickford. So we're actually now to the point where we're not taking any in-person clients at this time, but we are able to do Zoom readings and Zoom healings and so on. So that is something that is good. We just had it recently repainted back to a neutral color, and we have almost everything out, just a few things that we need to get out of there and do with the space in order to be able to return it back to the landlord. So all is good. It's also Easter weekend, so I do hope everyone is having a wonderful Easter, a wonderful Passover, etc. Surprisingly enough, it's not raining today. That's a good thing. Or snowing, so I'm glad to hear and see that's happening. Also, no snow, at least in here in New England, so that's a good thing. So like I said, today I'm bringing you this week's Ascended Illuminations reading. I also have some other things, some other channeled messages that I wanted to talk about, as well as some of the things that are coming up. So I figure I'll start with that in case people are wondering what this is. This is a cat scratch. Owen, my black cat, will sit on my shoulder, and sometimes when he starts to slide off, you can imagine. So that's what that's from. Anyhow, yes, so I made I already talked to you about the fact that the studio is winding down. Um, we are in the process, I should say, I am in the process of doing a really nice little opportunity for people to get a mini reading, a 15-minute reading for $45 on Zoom this week. This goes from April 19th today through April 25th, so this coming Friday. So if anyone is looking for a 15-minute mini Zoom reading, message me or email me at Tori, Tori, at avalonenchanted.com, and we can set that up for you this week. So that's certainly something that's good. We're still also booking for parties, tarot parties, and also table tipping parties for May and June and actually July. So if you're interested in hosting either a tarot party or a table tipping party, again, message me because I can set that up for you where I go to you, and it is $55 per person at table. If people want to add on a mini reading, they can do that for a small additional price. We limit it to no more than 8 people at table. So just an FYI. With everything in the process of being in flux right now, I'm actually in the process of making some plans to reopen the Gypsy tent, which I already put up a notice about. So the Gypsy tent is coming back, which is where we held our um, um, different experiences from last year with the pyramids, with the pyramid experiences, the as well as the circles, like spirit circles, cacao ceremonies. We're also going to do some crystal sound baths in it as well. And I will be able to use my 8-foot by 8-foot copper pyramid. What I've done, or what I'm going to be doing here at my home here in Jamestown, is I'm going to be setting up my 12-foot by 12-foot bubble tent. And inside the tent, it's all decked out with sari curtains, so we have privacy, and twinkle lights, so we have a little bit of light and a little bit of ambiance. And we have a beautiful view of the Newport Bridge going up the bay. So on weather nights when it's nice out, it's going to be really, really pretty, and it's going to be a great opportunity to connect and just unwind and allow yourself to kind of be one with nature, because we are going to be outside. We're also going to be doing, we're also going to be resetting the studio in my house. So for those of you that are wondering, well, what are we going to do? Are we moving to a different location? No, not at this time. We're going to be probably looking or keeping an eye out and looking around. But in the meantime, what we're going to be doing is actually setting up the studio here at my home here in Jamestown. So clients will have the opportunity to do different services or events or experiences, either indoors or outdoors, depending upon the weather. So I just wanted to let people know about that. We're going to have the tent up by mid-May. That's the plan. And we're also looking to have the in-home studio opened by late May, early June is the plan as well. There's some things that I'm in the process of wanting to do with the space. We're also in the process of just kind of sorting through everything, because literally we emptied the contents of just about everything in the studio. And now I just need to make some changes as to what I want to keep, what I want to put in storage, and what I definitely want to use immediately, with inside and outside. So if that is something that is interesting for you, let me know. We can schedule something when that's available. But right now, for the time being, we're focusing on just the Zoom readings and healings at this time. Okay. So yeah, let's go ahead and get started. When I was actually sorting out, or should I say shuffling my cards, I actually went with the Divine Masters cards by Kyle Gray. And 4 cards came out. Okay, so you have a choice of 1, 2, 3, or 4. All right, and you pick either card 1, card 2, card 3, or card 4. And based upon which card you select, that is your reading, because I do a reading for each. So card 1 is Gaia. Gaia. And Earth connection, stay rooted in trust and faith. Gaia. We had a rainbow this week, from what I understand. I didn't see it, but I heard we had one. We also, who also came out was Madhavatar Babaji, Spiritual Awakening, Interconnectedness, Understanding the Inner Workings. Okay, that's 2. And 3 is Kathumi, Initiatory Experience. Your current situation is initiating your gifts. Kathumi is number 3. Okay. And 4, the last card that popped out is Mott, Divine Intervention. Weigh up your opportunities, choose your highest good. Mott. Okay. So 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to start with my reading for 1. Okay. And then we're going to go ahead and get everything moving. Okay. So let's see what we got. While I'm in the process of shuffling, I also took a look this week at my Egyptian calendar, just to kind of see what was recommended day-wise in terms of what's considered favorable and what's considered adverse. And it was interesting. Today, tomorrow are favorable. Monday tends to be adverse. Tuesday, Wednesday are both, Tuesday, Wednesday are favorable, and Thursday is adverse. So we'll see what happens on Monday and Thursday and see if how that plays out. All right, so this is reading number 1 for Gaia. All right, so I got the 6 of coins covered by the 7 of coins. Behind us is the Queen of Swords. Beneath us is Judgment. Above us is the 4 of Cups. In front of us is Judgment. I'm sorry. Yeah, Judgment. I usually call this the Come to Jesus card. So this is almost like a reckoning kind of deal. But this is you know, legal stuff, judgment like that. 7 of Cups. Yeah, 7 of Cups. There's the Hierophant, which is the 5 of Cups. No, Hierophant. Sorry, long week. There's the page of the Knight of Wands. There's the Hangman, 9 of Wands, and the 10, I should say, the Moon. So let's see what's going on. To me, this is really a matter of there are things that you're waiting on. There are things that are in the balance where you need to literally strike the proper balance and have patience, okay? For a situation that may have just recently happened or is about to happen, okay? And to me, this is kind of like waiting. You know that you've already kind of you already know what's coming down. You already know that there's going to be a judgment, I guess is the best way to describe it. But above us is the 4 of Cups. So you may not necessarily feel like that particular outcome, it worked out the way that you specifically wanted it to. Okay. So that's something to kind of keep in the back of your mind. We don't always get what we want, but we get what we need, is the best way that I can figure out how to phrase this. Looking ahead of us, we do have legal documents, the need to stay in balance again. So there may very well be something that you're signing, I'm feeling. Also, there's the need for fairness and justice. Okay, so even though you may not necessarily feel like you've been treated fairly, this is a reminder to keep that balance and preferably not find yourself in a situation where you're focusing on what you don't have and ignoring what you do have. Okay. There's a lot of confusion. There's a lot of going on. There's a lot of energy that's going on, and you kind of might feel like you're running around like with a chicken, like your head cut off. But what I'm going to say is this is a need to slow things down. This is a need to also diversify, meaning, or should say delegate. Delegate what you can get rid of that you don't need to be focusing on in the immediate. If you have somebody else that can work on that for you, or put it on the back burner because some things do need to kind of settle down. I pulled another card and we got the Page of Wands, who is looking ahead. He's looking forward. He's moving on. For me, when I think of wands, I think of wand people that are very creative. Sometimes their creativity kind of gets in the way of practicality. So you may find that there are things about what you're doing or what you've been through or what you're going through that I'm going to say lack practicality, but you know you need to move forward. All right. So I'm going to say try and simplify, try and do the balance, try and cut the cords that you need to cut from the individuals that you know you need to cut from in order to simplify things that are going on as well. As far as some of the other things that come up, you know, we have stability, we have people, and some you might find that you might be someone that wants to do things very traditionally. However, tradition is kind of not necessarily in the cards at this rate. You may find that you really have to kind of think on your feet and go with thinking outside the box on some of the things that are going on. Okay. There's unique ways of working through this situation, and that is where the creativity comes into play. Okay, again with the wands. And I feel like this is also pushing you outside of your comfort zone. This is pushing you outside of your little box to think in different terms in order to handle the situation, in order to handle the process of what's going on. The other thing I'm going to say is we have the Hanged Man. And this to me is also sometimes looking at things from different perspectives. It's also not making sure that you're not focusing on complacency. You know, since we had this guy kind of sitting here pouting for what he didn't get, is the best way to describe it. You don't want to wait too long and be stuck in that energy. Okay. Because I feel like if you're going to be stuck in that energy, then you're going to feel like everything is just kind of being piled on top of you. And we kind of get into some of that victim mentality. What I am going to say is things need to be fair and just. Things need to be balanced and equal. So if it's a situation where there's fault, please know that in this case, the fault is not on just the other person, but you need to also take responsibility, is what I'm going to say with that. We're not necessarily seeing the full picture on things, okay? We're not necessarily seeing some of the things that are going on or are going to be going on. Whether it be we personally are like, I don't want to look, I don't want to see, or whether it be we need to kind of keep ourselves on the straight and narrow and focus on our goals so we don't get distracted. I tend to feel that this is a little bit the latter, so you don't get distracted and you allow yourself to move forward. If I pull another card, I got the Emperor, who is someone that's very stable, someone that's in a good position. We got the King of Swords. He's someone that's very intelligent. He's someone that's he is an air sign. So in some cases, he might be, I don't want to say a little all over the place, but he can be a little intense. Okay. So with this being said, you may find that there are parts of you that need to really focus on being grounded, being anchored, being in patience. Literally with Gaia, this is a resilient spirit card. And it makes a lot of sense. Earth connection, stay rooted in trust and faith. If you have the trust and you have the faith and you have the patience, you're going to find that you are going to where you need to be. You know, there are some things that are coming in for you, which are going to be looking better and better. Okay. It's just going to take time. It's also going to be one of those things where you have to be in the right frame of mind. Again, really making sure that you're being open and honest with yourself about what happened or what went down. And knowing that I don't want to say the blame, but there's more than one thing at fault or one person at fault. Okay. So all we can do is focus on what's going on with us, but we also need to take the accountability and the responsibility. Okay. So use that in order to change and channel into transitioning away from what happened and into where you want to go and where you want to be and things for the better. Okay. So that is one. Let's take a look at number 2. After the 4 readings, I was going to share some things. I actually sat down and did some channeled messages, and I figured I'd go through some of those and share with you what I got, especially for the next, I don't want to say it's necessarily for just this week, but I kind of feel like it's actually for the next few weeks. So I'll share that with you a little bit as well. So number 2. The number 2 again is Mahavatar Babaji, spiritual awakening, interconnectedness, understanding the inner workings. Okay. Let's see what she has to say. 6 of Wands. crossed by the Three of Cups. In the past, the Six of Swords. Beneath us, the Moon. Above us, the Page of Pentacles. In front of us, the Queen of Pentacles. And the Nine of Pentacles. We also have the Page of Cups. Four of Pentacles. And for outcome, we got the Two of Cups. We got the Nine of Cups. But we do also have the Seven of Swords. So what do I want to talk about? First of all, we have a lot of pentacles here, which is great. And pentacles definitely tie to the earth. They're very grounded. They're very much connected with the planet and with things of that nature. So again, this is a little bit of a situation that may have that you may have found yourself kind of slowly getting on the other side of, which is always a good thing. And there's a lot to be happy about. There's forward movement and there's celebration. Okay, so you're finding yourself on the other side of potentially something that went down, and you're looking to try and figure out what your next steps are and opportunities that are coming in. We also have a lot of cups, and cups can be watery. Cups are emotional. With that, I'm feeling that you sometimes might feel like your emotions kind of run things rather than your head. So we just need to make sure that those things are in balance. And I also feel like there's going to be a lot opening up for you from what happened. Okay. With the fact that this is all about interconnectedness, understanding of inner workings, spiritual awakening, you're going to find that who you were is different from who you are. What do I mean by that? Well, you're going to find that there is almost like an evolutionary change that you have been in the process of. And you've been in this evolutionary change for probably a while, but maybe didn't necessarily realize it. Okay. And you're to the point where you're seeing things from a different point of view. You're seeing things clearer for the first time. You're coming out of the darkness, okay? And you're seeing these different opportunities or feeling these different things that are coming in for you. And I almost feel like a lot of this seeing and feeling when I say that is energetic, okay? So we have the opportunity to welcome in spirit, to welcome in working with energy and understanding how you fit into the whole grand tapestry of the energetic workings. It may very well be that you've just kind of had deja vu, and you're just starting to kind of realize that, yeah, there are things that I know that I didn't realize I knew, and I don't know how I knew them, but it's obviously it's a spiritual awakening. So you may find that the spiritual awakening has kind of pushed out whatever was going on in order to allow for it to come in, and it for you to develop your skills and to develop your true self. So we got the Queen of Pentacles, who is in control. She's in a good place. She's confident. We also have the Nine of Pentacles, who is also someone that is very confident. She has a lot in her toolbox, and she has a lot in reserve. All right. So these are things that you might strive to be or might strive to work toward. And my point is that it is possible. Okay, it is possible. It's one of those things where you find that, yes, there's work that you need to do. A spiritual awakening is a big deal, and a spiritual awakening is not, it doesn't take it takes a while for for you to work through the course of things, because there's all sorts of different things along your path that might kind of come in front of you that allow you to experience them, and for you to kind of start to unfold and unpack how you might process things, how you might work with things, how you might feel, or how you might find that spiritual practice is something that's necessary in your daily routine. Okay. Um, I am going to say you might find that you're a little bit scared. You're kind of closed off. All right. And it's funny because even though it may very well be something that you're truly wanting, and this is the thing that you want the most to happen you try that again, in order to be able to maybe um, do something in the spiritual realm, do spiritual work and work with others. You know, sometimes we have to push ourselves outside of our comfort zone in order to grow. Growth comes from, I'm going to say, scary moments where maybe the universe kind of shoves us outside of those boxes because we're not necessarily willing to take that leap of faith in that time frame that spirit wants us to. So we got the King of Pentacles. So this is somebody that um, is confident. You might find that there may be a mentor or somebody that is going to be very helpful in terms of acting almost like a coach or something along those lines. But my point is, you're going to start to find that as you find the right person that comes in for you, you're going to start to open up, and you're going to start to really start to develop a working opportunity, a working relationship. Could this be a romantic relationship? It could be, but it could also be working toward, or I should say, working with a spiritual mentor or something along those lines in order to open up, in order to develop the confidence that the Queen of Pentacles and the Nine of Pentacles have. You know, this is who you want to be, but we need a little bit of help getting there. And there's nothing wrong with that. You know, spiritual teachers, spiritual mentors are here for a reason to help people understand the process of a spiritual awakening, how to understand their gifts, how to understand how to use their gifts, and how to make sense of this all. Okay. And I feel like there's going to be things that you're going to have some great success. This is the Nine of Cups. He's in a good place. He's happy. And you're going to find that there's new things that are opening up for you that you really, really like. And you're just exploring. And it's completely different from when you were in the dark. Okay. I am going to say this. We do have the Seven of Swords that's popping up, which I tend to call the sneaky bastard card. So why is this coming up? Honestly, I think this is coming up because you might feel a little bit of self-sabotage. So what I am going to say is allow your spiritual coach, your spiritual mentor, whomever you are working with in order to help work through this process, um, allow them to kind of get you through these moments where you kind of self-sabotage and you second guess yourself. Okay, because I feel that is something that could potentially creep in. We all have those moments where we're like, am I really doing it? Am I really getting this? We are, but that's the self-sabotage. Um, am I good enough? Can I handle this? Again, that's the self-sabotage. Look, Ace of Cups, you got this. And this is a beautiful, beautiful card that I feel goes so well with spiritual awakening. New gifts coming in, new opportunities coming in, new processes coming in, riding the water, riding the waves, and looking at the lotus blossoms that are blossoming from underwater in kind of deep, dark, kind of gnarly kind of places, but opening up and showing beautiful petals and showing what can be. So allow yourself to be open, allow yourself to be confident, and trust. Trust that the leap of faith is worth it. trust that the leap of faith is going to get you to this, and it's going to allow you to open up to some great things. So that's important. So that is number 2. That was Mahavatar Babaji, Spiritual Awakening. Let's take a look at Kathumi, who is your current situation, is initiating your gifts. Let's see what comes up for that. Kind of nice that it's flowering and, you know, you hear the birds chirping and stuff like that. And you don't need your winter coat and good things. All right, let's see what Kathumi has to say. Again, Kathumi. 3. We got the 2 of Swords covered by the Page of Wands. Behind us is the 7 of Wands, and beneath us is the 2 of Cups. Above us is the 4 of Cups. In front of us is the Knight of Wands and the 9 of Cups. There's the 7 of Swords. We do have the 10 of Wands. And in outcomes, we have the 4 of Swords. We have the 8 of Cups. And we have the Hierophant. All right. Your current situation is initiating your gifts. There is a lot to look at. The first thing that I want to, and I tend to jump around on these things. The first thing that I want to look at is, yes, there's some of the same cards that came up in the previous reading. But I also feel like there's a different timeline that's connected to this. You may feel like there is a need to figure out what direction to go in, or the direction that you want to go in is not necessarily the direction that you know is best for you. Okay. What I am going to say is make sure that you are really listening and again, not getting caught in your head over what direction to go in. But there is forward movement, there is creativity, there are things coming in. But the one thing I want to mention is that with the fact that we are literally trying to figure out what direction to go in and what to focus on, we do have some other cards. Again, the self-sabotage. And this could also be something tied in with family. So there may very well be some family that maybe are, I don't want to say meddling, but may not necessarily have the best intent or are looking at things differently for their own purposes and not necessarily yours. I'm going to pull another card, and I got the Emperor. So I'm just going to say be careful with that. Emotionally, we have, I said the 10 of Wands, but I meant the 10 of Swords. This is the stick a fork in me. I'm done. All right. So this is falling in the emotional house. So this is almost like a call to action of, do I continue to allow myself to focus on stuff that's not coming to fruition or is not the direction that I want to be going in? Or do I push ahead and allow myself to go in a new direction? And so for this card, we got the Queen of Wands. So you have a way of recreating yourself, but there is a need for downtime. There is a need for taking maybe a step back or allowing yourself to take a little bit of respite in order to recalibrate, in order to figure some things out. So what I'm trying to say is, don't necessarily rush into something. for the sake of trying to do forward movement, but sometimes we need to kind of take some downtime and calibrate in order to be able to get to the next step that we want. And it's interesting because we have the Eight of Cups, where this guy's going off to greener pastures. So to me, this is okay. I have different directions. I there's the direction that I want to go in, but I'm not necessarily really focusing on the directions that are really realistic. And there may very well be some things that are kind of underlying currents where maybe I'm being um led in a different direction, but I need to claim my own energy. I need to claim my own space. I need to claim my own self in order to um allow for things to fully settle in. With Kathumi, initiatory experience, your current situation is initiating your gifts. This downtime is going to be something that is necessary. And I feel like once this downtime is necessary, you may be like, okay, I need to move on and allow myself to spread my wings and go. And I don't feel like that's a bad thing. I feel like that's a thing where you may find that you've outgrown your friends, or you've outgrown maybe what it is, or what you've been working on. And it's telling you that there's other things that are coming in. Now, what I am going to say is this guy does kind of focus on charging in, kind of shooting first. Stop it, you two. Sorry, cats. And asking questions later. So to me, this is a little bit of a warning not to jump at the first thing that you feel comes your way. Take the time that's necessary to really dig deep and do the work and understand why that particular thing that you want to do is coming up but is not in reach. Understand why the things that do have in reach you don't want to do. Understand why the direction that you've been going in needs to change. And what do you need from that in order to be successful and to move forward? So I feel like those questions are really going to help you during this process to be able to finally pull the trigger on, okay, I've done my time, I've done my work. I now understand what the universe is saying. I now understand where I need to be heading, and I need to be going where I can fly. I need to be going where I am free to tap into what's in my highest and best, you know? So keep that in mind. We do have the Hierophant, who again is all about um tradition. So there might very well be a little bit of a pull about, you know, I almost feel like it's family that might be like, you know what, this might not necessarily be the direction you want to go in, and try and talk you out of it. So just be aware of that. If I pull another card, I got the Two of Wands. This guy's looking ahead and looking at, where do I go from here? So I feel if you use this downtime wisely to help you work through some of these underlying currents, and help you really get a good handle on maybe why you're feeling this way, why you're feeling that you didn't necessarily get what you wanted to get, why you got what you did get over what you didn't get that you wanted. So those are some things I feel that are necessary, that will kind of really kind of give you the opportunity to finally put that chapter to bed, to cut that cord, and move to the next thing, move to the next level, move to some great things coming in that are going to be more in keeping with um you know where what you want to do. I don't know if it's a job. I don't know if it's literally picking up and moving to a different state or a different country, but I feel like those are some things that may very well come into play. And that's number two. Let's take a look at number three, Mott, divine intervention. Weigh up your options and choose the highest good. Okay, let's see what we got for Mott. One more shuffle. All right. And then after this, I'll go through some of the things that came out as channeled messages. So when I do that, I go into meditation and connect with spirit, and spirit will sometimes give me different things to focus on. I specifically asked in terms of what we need to know for the next week, as well as the next few coming weeks. Okay. All right. So let's see what we got for Mott. Okay. There's the Eight of Cups, crossed by the Knight of Pentacles. And behind us, we got the Page of Wands. Beneath us, we got the Two of Wands. Above us, we do have a Tower card. But in front of us, we have the Six of Cups. We have the King of Swords. We have the Nine of Wands. The Eight of Pentacles. There is the Queen of Cups and the Two of Pentacles. And finally, the Six of Swords. Okay, so to me, what this is saying is you may have decided to go in a completely different direction. I'm just going to say be careful with how you, I'm hearing be careful with how you build your house. I don't quite know what that means. But above us, we have the Tower card, which usually means a shakeup, a moment of chaos and things like that. Sometimes we need chaos in order to be able to clear things out and create what we do want, what we want and need. If I pull another card, though, I do have the Sneaky Bastard. So to me, this is something in terms of be careful of the direction, because we're coming off of the Eight of Cups. This is the, moving on to greener pastures. Be careful of what your next steps are and where you are going. You may find that might be running away from an issue or a person. You might find that is something that is needed in order to kind of break through all that. But there is a I'm going to say a nod to nostalgia, a nod to things of the past, looking at past maybe relationships or yourself in the past in terms of how you dealt with this topic or other topics. Okay, so just know that this is here, and this is something that you're going to need to be kind of careful with. It may help you kind of get through some moments, but in the same token, we also want to make sure that we're not focused on the past. We need to be in the present, and we need to be pushing and moving forward. Okay. So, what do I got here? There's a lot of work where you feel like there's a lot of work that you find yourself doing on yourself. We have in the emotional house, we got the Eight of Pentacles, which is all about starting at the bottom, working your way up, and he's becoming a master craftsman. So he's understanding and where he is coming in on things, and through on the job training, through hands-on experiences, he's developing and allowing things to go in the right direction. We got the king, we got the emperor, so you do have stability. You do have this stability to help you with this. You have a strong connection to help you work through some of this. Family you may find that they might not necessarily be quite as supportive. They might be quick to judge. So just keep that in mind. But I do feel like you definitely need to keep track of your emotions. You definitely need to, I'm going to say, look at things slightly differently. Okay. And I feel like this shakeup is going to kind of cause you to kind of almost backtrack. But then you kind of have to say, okay, I need to get myself in control and restart and repower yourself back up to where you need to be. All right. Again, there really is the need for balance. There really is the need for, it's interesting because Mott divine intervention, weighing up your options, choosing your highest good. This guy is literally like weighing, right? So there really is the need to be in balance. There really is the need to be doing things for your highest good. And like I said, this tower moment may be something that's required as part of your highest good. It sucks, but it might be something that we need in order to give us the kick in the pants and move us along. Yeah, look. Ace of Swords. So swords can either cut you or protect you. So you can be your own protector. You can also be on the offensive. They're exceptionally intellectual. So my point is moving through this chaos, not necessarily allowing yourself to get too in depth into the past, but staying as much as you can in the present and pushing forward and staying in balance is going to be the catalyst for moving you away from that tower moment into achieving victory. Okay. So this gets you to this. And that is something that is important to know. Okay. So if I pull one more card, we got the Ace of Pentacles. So my point is you're golden. This is a test. Are you up to the test? Are you up to literally pulling yourself up by your bootstraps and moving forward and doing what is in your highest and best? Because there's some great things that are waiting for you if you are. That is Mott. That is card number 4. So I hope you enjoyed the reading this week. Again, if you're interested in the mini Zoom readings for $45, let me know, message me or email me. The tent is coming back. We're going to be working on putting the studio in the house here at Jamestown. And we're going to be doing some different events in the tent, including sound baths, which I'm really excited about. All right, channeled messages. So these are some of the things that came up that when I went into meditation. So this week is going to be, it's going to be a crazy week, and adaptability will be required to, quote, ride the wave. Not sure why it came up with ride the wave, but that was something that was really important in this message. It's going to be a crazy week, and adaptability will be required to ride the wave. With this, it will be a wave of emotions around the world. So I do feel you're going to find that there's a lot of emotional stuff that's going to affect us. I don't necessarily think that we are on any sort of full moon or anything like that, but no, because the new moon looks like it's the 27th. Huh. All right. Anyhow, we do have the holiday going on, not only Passover, but also Easter. So there could be something with that. And I do feel like there are going to be some things that really hit home, emotionally speaking. Okay. There was also a possibility of either a fire or an earthquake coming this week. And when I asked where, they showed me the Ring of Fire. So we'll see what happens. Also, there is a need to be careful out in public, despite how much you want to engage with someone, just don't. Okay, because I feel like with everything being so crazy, you're gonna kind of have to be like the better person and be like okay, I'm just going to walk away from this. It's not worth getting myself involved in this. Let them do their thing. I'm doing my own thing and I'm going to walk away. I feel like if if you are engaging, if you are trying to um um show a different point of view, it's not going to go over well. And they're not going to necessarily be open to it. They're trying to show you their point of view. And they're so busy trying to show you their point of view, they don't care about your point of view. So again, be careful out in public, despite how much you want to engage with someone, just don't. There's going to be a big reveal that's coming in. When I asked a little bit more, they showed me possibly entertainment and or political. So I don't know if it's going to be something that's tied together or if it's going to be two separate things. But some of the communities who were flooded or had tornadoes will also be hit again. I know that there's also some big rains that are coming through this weekend, but I almost feel like some of these areas from the last 6, 8 months that have been dealing with reconstruction from disasters may very well find themselves back in trying to dig themselves out again. All right, so be aware of that. Um, there's also possibly going to be more plane issues, especially in the United States. All right. So I do want to make people aware of that. I know that we do have a lot of people that are flying over the holiday. Um, and I do want to say that certainly the airways do tend to be safe. But there are going to be some type of plane issues. I don't know if it's going to be um, things are tied up and they can't necessarily get planes out, or if there's going to be something else that goes on. All right. Um, the other thing that they mentioned was that this will be a watershed moment in US politics, which will cause chaos and distractions. Okay. Um, Spirit said, pay attention to the timeline, not to the distractions. So some of the things that keep on blowing up are things that are meant to distract while other things are going on in the background. It's kind of like a program where you have other things that are going on in the background while other stuff in front is doing different tasks and things like that. Okay. So a watershed moment in in US politics, which will cause chaos and distractions. Pay attention to the timeline, not to the distractions. Something big with the world banking system. Not sure if it's going to be some sort of world hack or something along those lines, but something having to do with capabilities, banking wise, may very well be affected, right? Spiritually speaking, there were some other things that they brought to my attention. And they said that the astral energy is very ancestral energy is very important. And there are going to be many soul contracts that are ending over the next couple of weeks. I don't know exactly what this means. I kind of do, but I don't want to come out and say it. I think it has to do with some of the stuff that is going on um in the European realm. All right. Um, but yeah, there are going to be many soul contracts ending, and something with the timeline is either going to slip or get stuck. So you may find that you hear about, I don't know if it's like some type of event that is recreated or some type of disclosure thing that's going to come out. I'm not sure, but it mentioned something with the timeline is going to slip or get stuck. So let's see what happens. And then it also brought up to me the image of what looked like the CERN super collider. So I don't know if something electronic or like actually like doing something like with a machinery like that is going to actually cause this shift or cause this slip up or this opportunity to get stuck. But it did show me something like that. Um We'll have to see what happens. I do feel like these things are really more for the next couple of weeks. They're not necessarily for this week, okay? Let's see where things kind of shake out and see what we get because there's a lot on here and there's a lot on here that has a lot of consequences. So, we'll have to see how those consequences shake out. So, anyhow, stay tuned for the Gypsy tent coming. Stay tuned for the looking for my cards. Stay tuned for the studio here in Jamestown. Take advantage right now of the special 15-minute reading special on Zoom and stay connected, you know? If you have any questions or if there's anything that I can help you with, by all means, let me know. If you're interested in booking a trip, whether it be a weekend trip or a bucket list trip or even a family trip, let me know. I'm happy to help you with that as I am able to book travel. I'm actually in the process of booking something really cool for myself in September in Sedona. So if you've ever thought of experiencing Sedona, the spring and the fall is a great time to do that. And if you're interested, I'm happy to help you with that process and happy to help get you an amazing experience that will be very memorable and also very spiritual. So take care. And if you are catching this as a replay, well, you are catching this as a replay, just let me know that you caught it. And I hope you have a great holiday weekend or whenever you're watching this. Take care. Bye.